the promise come upon us, realize that's our family time.
You're listening to In the Scripts, Reloaded. You're listening to In the Scripts, Reloaded.
Somebody called cops. We just witnessed another innocent man get shot. They heard of us, man, they scared of us, turning to murderers. And we the jury found them guilty, but their crimes won't stop. And then I walk in the name of Jesus. They walk in the name of Caesar. Per se, the white image of Christ is who he betrays, telling us disregard Revelations 1:14. And when the truth comes out, they ask, does color matter? I asked them, did it when we got scattered? When they raped our women, murdered our children, and at the end of the day, we still weren't paid, working for breadcrumbs, last hired, request to step it off, first fired. No regards for the name of Jesus, but in God we trust. His words won't leave us. His laws ain't grievous, converting the souls. We should have kept the laws when we first was told. Now we out here marching, looking for a strand of hope, but God's laws we won't hearken.
You're listening to In the Scripts, Reloaded.
Gonna do all the talking. Some don't like what they hear and keep walking. Soon as yellow tape and police chalking, cause it up and they just won't hearken. Got to know who we are cause we forgot. Or it's more at the prisons, the rope and the gunshot. Don't have to tell you that the streets are right, but it's time you know about them secret plans. Black and brown at the bottom at the top. No, the protest won't make it stop. But our black skin is seen as a black, and the slums and the ghettos are signed or a lot. Some put them trust in the Constitution, but why the pipeline to prison institution? Why black Christ get a white dilution? Why our nationality still a confusion? Israel is a nation. Right in, down for a nation. Right for a nation. Down for a nation. Right in, down for a nation. Israel is a nation. Right in, down for a nation. Right for a nation. Down for a nation.
You're listening to
Posted on the corner with
In
the
the
mic and couple
Scripts,
verses that spread light to the
Reloaded.
dark like a sunrise. In this forecast, I can feel a mighty chance of meatballs being picked through these scripts as we beating our people. The law steady creeping with no TLC and then plotting and scheming, hoping they catch us slipping. But I ain't tripping unless I'm about to preach the word in another country. You know that God gave his word to us only, homie. You know those dresses make our woman look better than precious. Proverbs 31:7 is better description. Lord willing, we gon' preach his word till the Lord get us from the trenches. Then boom, hey, sudden destruction, darker than Hiroshima, faster than the blink of an eye. I've heard we keep enduring. I just hope you understand. I only rock for 12, and I ain't talking about Charlottesville. This is Israel.
Down for a nation. Israel is a nation. Right in, down for a nation. Right for a nation. Down for a nation. Right in, down for a nation.
Most High Christ blessing. Woo! Y'all are tuned in to Inner Scripts.
Reloaded.
Take these off.
That's a lot of noise.
Who I got on my left?
Officer Yacob.
Who I got on my right?
Officer Shema.
Who I got on my far right?
Officer LSJ.
Far right.
Officer Jacob.
Far right.
Officer Kashaw.
All praises to the Most High. So we got a good show. We got one of them shows for the men.
Right.
To better us all, help us reflect on things that came out at men's conference.
Yes.
And I was thinking, from last week, I was like, let me find some of the most depressing stuff I could find. Brothers past and all that, insecurities. I'm like, brothers we ain't really digging back like that.
Right.
Like depression and shit and anxiety and all that. It ain't really nothing to go back to like that. Yeah. Your daddy did stuff to you, your uncle, all that.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it. Keep it moving. You got to grow from it.
Right.
Those are the scabs in your life to make you stronger, make you better.
So build character.
Build character.
That's right.
Build character. All right. Learn what not to do for yourself in the future. Right. Learn what not to do with your children, your sons, your daughters.
Right.
So yeah. So we're gonna go into some other things with the men. We're gonna go into some motivational things, some inspiration, some admonition, some correction, a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
Very necessary stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we do that, we got to get out here to the streets.
That's right.
What y'all got for us, officer?
Absolutely. All praise to the Most High God. You know how we do, man. Every week, it's Ears to the Streets. We talking about a hot topic that's going on amongst our people.
Right.
We want to see what our people think about it. And, of course, we're going to have some righteous commentary. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Hey, look at Officer Jake. Look at how you look on there. Look at your headphones.
My headphones.
I know, man, because I got to hear what y'all saying. y'all be talking ish over here.
Damn. So, look, check it out. One of your favorite rappers, new on the scene, Glorilla, hot, young artist. I don't think she's out here.
Hot breath.
But hot breath.
Right.
Hot
garbage.
Had some interesting comments. Officer Kashad, what she had to say this week?
Hey, so she's out here giving life advice to the youth. She's a world-renowned star, apparently. She came out with a hot track. What was the track?
F-R-E-E.
Yeah. So now she got some advice she wants to give to the young ladies of the world.
Must be great.
Let's see what it is, yeah. It's the rave of the internet. Can we play that video? Gorilla? Can we play Gorilla?
And I just want to let y'all know, be toxic for the rest of your 20s. You only get one life. Live your toxic 20s. You never get to be 20 years old, 21, 22, 23, 24, none of that ever again in your life. Be toxic, because don't get in your 30s thinking you could just go slashing tires and doing all this crazy shit. You too old for that now. You too mature.
So she
be
says
toxic for the rest of your 20s.
Pause it.
And if you delusional, turn it.
So she's saying the time to slash tires and be toxic is in your 20s.
In your 20s.
That's good advice.
No, peep what she said. Peep what she said. She said when you get in your 30s, you can't do that because you're too mature.
You're mature.
She hasn't fully grasped the understanding on how maturity works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a flip you can just switch on. Pop, pop. I'm mature now. You got to practice learning the skills of becoming mature in your 20s in order for you to be in your 30s and be mature.
Yeah.
So what the hell make you think that slashing tires in your 20s is going to make you mature in your 30s?
Because what you do most is what you do best. So if you're
Facts.
Habitual tire slasher in your 20s, then chances are those habits going to follow you in your 30s. What you think?
That's the judo parable right there.
There you go.
What was the judo parable?
What you do most is what you do best.
That's right. And not only will those habits follow you, but the consequences follow you.
Facts.
The mindset follows you. And I know it's kind of leading into what we're going to talk about today on the show with the insecurities. A lot of these things our people do because of insecurities, because of the mental hangups they have in their brain. That stuff don't just go away. You got to put tangible work towards fixing your mental problems.
I was reading one of the articles, just doing the back research behind this, and one of the psychologists, whatever he was, he had an article, and he said all of the big changes that happens to somebody's personality, the characteristic traits, will happen in they teens and they 20s. So by the time you get to your 30s, really, if you're looking at somebody in their 30, 35, that's the person you probably gonna be looking at 85, at 8 o'clock. He said you'll still see some change, but amongst the studies or I think it was 1,500 people that they studied, they said it was only a slight difference or a slight change.
Wow.
So she's saying get used to it in your 20s, but like you were saying, you don't just wake up on 30 and you be like, I'm no longer going to slash tires no more.
That ain't how it works. Hey, she said some more, too. Play the rest of the video. Watch what she says.
Just go slashing tires and doing all this crazy shit. You too old for that now. You too mature. Be toxic for the rest of your 20s. And if you delusional,
If you
turn
what?
that shit up a
If
notch.
you delusional, she said turn it up a notch.
Wow.
You know what? You know what a 25-year-old delusional toxic woman turns into?
What's that?
A 55-year-old single bitter-ass woman. That's what the part she don't understand. You can't be delusional and toxic in your 20s, and then you getting every Tom, Dick, and Harry slanging slaw, as my brother would say. Shout out to Officer Obadiah, Ohio, all praises. Slanging slaw all up in you, right? and then you 55 and you wonder where all the good men at.
So LSJ, so she's gonna reinforce that behavior to her kids. They grew up from slaw.
From slaw, getting slanging up in
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a bad deal, right?
It's all bad. It's terrible.
The hell is this?
Hey, let's see some of those comments. What's some of the comments? What the people had to say? Because Gorilla, she's a world-renowned star now. Got her teeth fixed. Amalek, and dolled her up. They say, hey, we'll make you more.
Hey, she did get her teeth fixed. All due respect to the sister, but her teeth wasn't it before she got famous. I just got to be honest, man.
Can we get the photos?
But she still talk with that lisp.
Number two, reaction to
with no
Glorilla.
teeth.
Yeah, she does still talk with that list. And she's from Memphis, so she got that, hey, mine, you know what I'm saying, mine. Stay toxic, mine.
Mouth full of teeth. She talking to us.
Right, for real, though.
we got the photos?
Hey,
Number two, reaction to Glorilla. Pull that up. It's comments.
You look back at the window, a brother staring right at you. It's like there's a problem.
You was gonna say something else?
Can I get Ecclesiastes 8:11 while they figure that out?
Yes, sir.
Because kind of got to reinforce some good stuff with the bad.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 11. Reproach not a man that turneth from sin.
Ecclesiastes 8
Oh,
and
my
11?
bad. I'm Sirach.
Okay.
My bad.
That's a good precept, though, by the way.
It was. You was in the spirit, though, man. I wanted that sentence against the evil work because when you dealing foolishly, it can't yield good rewards.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 11.
Thank you.
I got it. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse
There it
11.
is.
Dang.
Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
Because you didn't get shot, you didn't get no hot lead in you for breaking somebody's windows out or busting their tires or whatever the case may be. Because it didn't happen in your 20s. Rest assured. What did he say next?
Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Like Kashai, you said, you early childhood development, even early adulthood development. The scientists or the social scientists said that in the 30s you're gonna be the same person. In the 50s you're gonna be the same person. You don't mysteriously get good habits from bad,
Right.
Unless you run into them prophets.
unless
Right.
you run into the prophets.
But even that, Bishop Nathaniel said it in class a few weeks ago. He said, in order to improve, you have to be intentional. So you can't just think that it's this magical pixie dust you sprinkle on yourself when you turn 30, and now you just change. We as men in the congregation, a lot of us been in the truth 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. We still have to wake up every day and be intentional to be the best man we can possibly be. Hey, y'all got them comments?
Intentional, because good decisions are intentional. Because we plagued with bad. It's easy to make a bad decision. It's more natural to make a bad decision than a good decision.
To your point about the intentionality, I believe that's a word in the article as well. It did say because the guy he was like, I don't want to just feel like he doesn't want to push the message that it's feel like there's no hope. He said you still can change after your 30s. He said, but you really are going to have to practice that thing on a daily. He basically said it's going to be some hard work. When you get to your 30s and you're like, all right, let's switch it up now. It's going to be some hard work.
Right.
As opposed to what's the other parable? It's easier to raise strong
children than to heal broken men.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one when you
Hey,
dropped that one.
but speaking of that though, Bishop, he bought out something heavy in that Sirach. Remember, he was saying that the same principles it takes to raise strong children are the same principles it takes to build broken men.
That's right.
Fix, that's right.
To fix broken men.
Right.
That was a nugget right there.
Because he said we all came into this truth broken.
Right.
As a result, those of us woke up later in life in our late 30s, early 40s, now we know the right way to walk.
That's right.
Now we know how to walk upright for real and not be faking it,
Hey, you know what? A lot of us came into the truth with them insecurities we're going to hit on today. And that's why it's so important for us to examine ourselves. Like Bishop say, take moral inventory of yourself. Right. Look at the failures that you have had and face them. I know it's uncomfortable, but face your failures. Face the things that you lack in, the things that you weak in. So what? Right. You can improve them.
That's right.
And that's why the scriptures say, desire the sincere milk that ye may grow thereby.
That's right.
That's what this truth is all about. It's about growth. All right. Y'all got the comments?
I believe I got a thumbs up in the back, so I would say so.
All right, pull them up.
All right, so this is DD.
There we go.
It says, the prison industrial complex endorses this message.
Right.
Hey, that's facts.
Well said.
Yep.
Hey, that's also to your point. You said that sentence is not handled swiftly. What if you 22 and you doing some foolishness for a couple years and nothing comes, and then you 25, 26, it catches you. So you ain't even reached the 30s that you said in maturity. What if you get caught up slashing tires and then you get thrown in jail for destruction of property or something like that at 26?
And I didn't do that scripture justice because the end of it, basically, you're not getting away with nothing. Right. So in your 20s, if you in your teens doing foolishness, eventually it's gonna catch up to you.
Right.
And for the people that don't know what he's talking about with the prison, industrial prison complex, the same owners, these same Amalekite Jewish owners that own these record labels, these are the same men that are investing billions of dollars into privatized prisons and into these lawyers that create laws in order to align our people up or line them up into where they go from really the school to prison pipeline. For example, here in Texas, you know how many kids that they got smoking marijuana vape pens?
Yep.
These kids watching TikTok, watching rappers like Glorilla and so on and so forth, NBA Youngboy, they think it's just normal. But when they get caught, they're like, oh, this is actually a felony case.
And they don't know no better. And look, we're going to have to speed it up because of, our technical difficulties. We're going to jump straight to the Idumean moment of the week. I just got to say this real quick. I'm glad we got this back, right? We missed it a couple weeks. We came back with a bang last week with the ass sniffing. You know what I'm saying? And we got another crazy one.
We got a captain like that one, man. He kind of frowned upon us, man. He's a serious dude, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, Officer Kashaw, man, what we got for Idumean moment?
I just want everybody to know, man, if you've been using irons normally, how we would normally use them, in the laundry room, in the living room when you watching TV, it's just a testament of us being in captivity. All right, can we play this Edomite moment of the week, to show you that we are in captivity? Ironing boards testify about our captivity.
Ironing. It's certainly not meant to be normal. Normal's boring. Oh, wow. Oh, me. I'm Matt from New Zealand, and I've been doing extreme ironing about 4 years. The idea with extreme ironing is to find the craziest place you can iron. A Scottish lake, up a hill somewhere, or sometimes on a cave is also good fun. It's important to look your best as well. We try and have a good suit jacket on, so you can really look good as you're doing your ironing. These rocks are pretty hot at the moment. Where am I going to plug this into? Hang on.
On top of a mountain.
It's not that I want to show off myself, it's more that I want to get other people involved. Most of my friends and family are quite supportive of the ironing. It's nice to have a few people looking on. Here we are. I definitely think escapism is an important part of life. During the day I study astrophysics, so it's nice to have something like extreme ironing. It's a great way to just get out of everyday life. Just have a bit of fun.
Look at that.
Hey, look, I think they missed at the beginning. He said ironing is not meant to be normal.
Hey.
If ironing ain't meant to be normal, what the hell else in life is supposed to be? That's the most normal thing you can do.
In captivity. That's what I'm saying.
That's just too extreme. I'd rather be wrinkled. I'd rather just stay wrinkled and go climb a mountain to go iron a shirt.
See, listen, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. We in captivity. We just thought it belonged up in the house.
Right.
I would recommend we all bring our ironing boards to Tabernacles this year on a backpack.
Some people do that, though. Some people iron at Tabernacles. But think about it. If you, even at Tabernacles, you ironing in your tent.
He looking like hell.
You ironing in your tent, though. You ain't going to go hike through the wilderness and iron on the side of a tree.
You notice they mention caves. This only tells me that they read the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They know where they from. They know they from the clefts of the mountains, and this is one of those fantasies they had back at that time. Not only that, they probably read Revelation 13 and 10. Because guess what? They trying to look at the fatness of the land,
They said, let's iron up there.
It's
iron up
evidence, man. I believe it.
Man,
Hey, listen, man. So look, y'all have it again. Glorilla's telling us this is some foolishness. Edomites are ironing the garments that they're going to get beat up in at the boardwalk.
Damn.
In the boardwalk and on the mountain. So, hey, you know.
We're going to dig them out of them rocks.
Hey, we're going to dig them out of them rocks with their ironing board included.
With a wrinkled shirt.
All praise to the Most High. It's back to you, Cap.
All praise to the Most High. You know, you can only be white and be in the mountains,
Right.
in the clefts of the rocks,
Captivity, I told you.
ironing. That's only white people do that.
Right.
Only Edomites do that.
Right.
They got enough money. They got enough
was thinking-
resources.
I was thinking
They
the
got
same
enough time.
thing.
They got enough freedom
Right.
to do some. Black people ain't up on no damn mountains. Ironing.
Right.
Oh, iron in the mountain.
When we iron in our suit, we trying to get a job to pay
We
for
trying to get a job, man.
Cap, they skydiving. They skydiving ironing their stuff. I went down the rabbit hole.
He needs some
Hey,
milk.
to your point about them having all the money, you heard what he said. He said he's an astrophysicist.
Astrophysicist.
So
just ironing
he
on
got the
weekends.
money.
He
That's why
got
he
the money,
right,
got
that's
the
why
time.
he, yeah,
Right, right.
Time.
yeah.
Woo!
Damn.
Well, alrighty then. Alrighty then.
Well.
So, brothers, we're gonna deal with. We're gonna start from the beginning in terms of us as men, how we grew up, how we were raised. And actually, I got a question. Y'all know sometimes I come up with these pop quizzes for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So I got some questions. We're gonna start with Officer Kasha. Give us what?
No, I'm trying to.
You trying to do something? All right, do
fix
your
something
thing.
for
We're
you,
gonna
sir.
start with LSJ. LSJ, give us a little background of your upbringing.
Oh man.
Oh man.
All right, on the spot. Okay, so I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. You
Okay.
know, all praise to the Most High.
Too bad. I feel sorry. But go ahead.
Right. Now, I will say this. I am rare, unfortunately, in the sense of our community. I did have my father in my life my whole life. So all praises, shout out to my pops. Born and raised in the neighborhood, you know, like most of us. You know, my brothers lived some questionable lifestyles that I tried to stay away from. Grew up playing sports, playing football, basketball, ran track. I boxed a little bit, and then I came into the truth at 16. So all praise to the Most High. My brother found the truth. He told the family. My dad started watching on YouTube, found IUIC, and you know I was able to come into the truth that young. But I will say this: one thing that even though I had both parents in my life, and I do want to give all respect to my parents. Their relationship wasn't the best always. So it's certain things I noticed in the household that had an effect on me with relationship dynamics, with not seeing the proper order of a household, not seeing the reverence and the respect and so on and so forth, dealing with spirits of anger, spirits of bitterness, things like that. So to your point, when you talking about the going through the past and the insecurities and stuff, I started thinking when I seen it in the group, I'm like, dang, it's some things I need to go look at right there.
Yeah. Some things you got to
All
revisit
praises.
and be like,
Yeah.
okay, is that
Yeah.
do I carry those traits now? Is that
Right.
something I need to fix? You right.
Yeah.
All right. All praises.
So,
Officer Jacob.
Grew up in Gary, Indiana, which is, you know, what some would say would be the armpit of the United States of America. But I think I had a good upbringing. My father was a cop. Mother was a beautician. She was a beautician, beauty salon owner. So here's the thing. Saw some dysfunctional stuff, you know, coming up. You know, marriage, although they was married till he died, you know, I seen some jacked up stuff, you know, in terms of infidelity, which led to some real embarrassment. You know, I'm talking like mother coming to the school, beat up the teacher type stuff. You know? You know what I'm saying? So to say the least, you know, I wish I had the scriptures then. I wish we had the medicine then. We don't, and we didn't, but now we do. So if they take heed to what's coming out right now that the water's rising, I think that more families can be saved through these scriptures.
All praise. Officer Yakub.
I grew up dysfunctional as hell. So even though I grew up with in my age group, a lot of us had stepfathers in the house. So I grew up with a stepfather in the house, but he worked all the time. And besides working all the time, when he was home, he didn't have much interest in doing anything else. I don't ever remember him being at any events, you know, sporting events. He gave me all of the daddy talks and everything, so he was my father. But my mom ran the house, and my mom ran everything. And to be honest, it wasn't until I was an adult and began to look back that I realized that I resented that, because I started realizing the way that I was dealing with women and the women I was dealing with was because of what I was seeing with my mom. And I didn't, probably right around 30, I realized that I didn't understand manhood and so forth. So I went looking for, began looking for it. But it caused dysfunction, and it still causes dysfunction because, there's still some things now that'll pop up. And then, the only thing that you have is you can think back on the scriptures and be like, okay, damn, all right, I got to switch that up. I can't move like that. But it definitely caused dysfunction.
Okay. Officer Kasha.
So born Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We moved after my fifth grade to Michigan. Then after that, senior year to Texas. Single parent household. So my mom, I got my two brothers, older, younger. She never got to the points where it was a stepdad type thing, but it was one of the ones where it's like the scripture that talk about a woman that maintained a husband or a man. She tried to maintain a lot of sorry dudes, and they eventually just fell out. And if they wasn't sorry, it was like, okay, this is not the type of dude that you really want to be dealing with type of stuff. Outside of that, it was just I told one of my college professors one time, because they were talking about like, where'd you get your models, like who were your role models growing up? And for single parent household with a mom, most of the time with that void of having a father there is going to be your football coach, track coach, your uncle that's doing pretty well, that's kind of different than everybody else, whatever case is that you will listen to. And she said it was some kind of term for it, but I forget. But outside of that, it was sports. School really wasn't interested in it until I got to college, and I realized, like, okay, I'm not playing any sports anymore, so I kind of need to kind of lean heavy into the school, unless I want to be like my uncles, cousins, brothers that I'm seeing, and they just smoking weed and ain't doing shiftless kind of stuff. But yeah, kind of I say more along the lines of like, hey, wherever the opportunity arises, just get it, I guess.
Okay. Officer Shema.
Well, grew up in Arkansas. My story kind of similar to Kashad's, because I grew up in Arkansas. Then during the Industrial Revolution, my parents moved to Michigan. But in Arkansas, my grandma raised me. My parents got a divorce. And I moved to St. Louis, then to Michigan, then back to Arkansas, stayed with my grandmother. Got older. She couldn't really control me no more, so my uncles kind of took hold of me. Then the crack era happened, so the streets got to me. Caught a couple cases, ended up doing a little time, sat down for a minute, decided to get my life together. Came out, met a couple more friends, decided that, you know what, either I'm going to get with y'all or I'm going to start doing something positive. Well, those friends decided that they want to try to make millions. Some of them did make a lot of money. I decided to get a job. So that right there, I think, changed my life, because it was like a fork in the road. Either I could have went with my homies that are dead now, by the way. Dang. So, I had a rough one, man, but all praise to the Most High, man. It built a lot of character about me, I wouldn't change it.
So you went from a crackhead to a prophet. All praises to the Most High. Y'all give a round of applause to my brother. All praises. Ain't that what you said?
No, I was on the business side.
That transaction.
Brother had a PhD in urban pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. But if it would help somebody repent, then I would accept that.
Oh snap! He wasn't no crackhead. I'm just serious.
What a turn of events.
Yeah, he was on
What
the
about
business
yours,
side of it. So me, grew up. My father. So y'all know Officer Soraya, my stepfather, but he's really, from 8 years old up, that was my father.
Yeah.
I knew my real dad. But there was that dynamic where, you go to his crib for some time, once a month, twice a month, something like that, and then you come back home. But stable. I saw, stable home, stable work, stuff like that. So nothing crazy, no crack, no prison time, no running the streets and nothing like that. All praise to the Most High. It was good, similar to LSJ. You know, so
Just
all
a
praise to the
little-
Most High.
I didn't bring all the things.
Yeah.
Oh, so there was crack in his
No,
in
It
his
was-
story. Okay.
It wasn't no crack. It was a lot of
Crack Christianity.
It was right, a lot of crack Christianity. That's for
yeah,
daggone sure.
yeah.
But
yeah.
the neighborhood I lived in, a lot of the brothers I grew up with, some of them are dead, and I'm young, so some of the brothers went to jail and all that. I just was more so focused on playing ball because I seen my brothers go through that life.
Right.
And then I seen, the brothers around me in my age frame doing certain things, so I kind of try to stay away. I got into a few little situations, little scuffles here and there, but for the most part, I focused on playing football.
All praises. All praises.
Can I tell a true story?
Yeah.
My grandfather, my dad's dad, and I knew him. His name in the streets was Cadillac Blue. That'll tell you something. His name was that was his nickname, Cadillac Blue. Every year he had the new Cadillac. That's what he was known for. But he died a millionaire.
Damn.
He died a millionaire. Okay. But because of the relationship that he had with my father, he and my father's relationship wasn't good. When he died, my father received a phone call from a bank in East Texas saying, hey, your father died, but he had left this, that, and the third, but we noticed lately that there's money coming off of this account. We don't know that you know this. And I didn't know nothing about it. Because my grandfather was Cadillac Blue in his young years, but in his older years became the old doting, the old doter.
Yeah.
A woman brought him to a piece of bread, and all of the land, the acres that he owned throughout Buffalo all the way to Texarkana, the houses that he owned, and the millions that he had in the bank, this woman with somebody else, she married him when he went into a nursing home, which shouldn't have been able to happen. But a young nurse that worked in the nursing home was able to marry my grandfather after he had some strokes. Wow. My father didn't know. She attached herself to the money and drained everything.
Damn.
Drained everything.
Damn.
The wickedness of a woman.
Woo! Solomon Mama tried to tell him.
Yeah.
She told us, don't let a woman turn you to a piece of bread, man.
Yeah.
Damn, lose everything. And for us, and I'm talking about black people, that's, even if not necessarily millions, we have a lot of those stories where we can't pass basic, even if it's just one crib.
Yes. Right.
We there's so much dysfunction within. Oh, that was just my baby mama. That was just my baby daddy. Oh, well, your daddy had this over here, but you can't inherit none of it because they wasn't married, and he had. It's like, damn! Imagine if we just had a righteous marriage,
right,
and we raised righteous seed, and where would we be at right now? But then again, those are the curses. Those are the curses.
Well, it's the title that the insecurities of life.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know what's funny too, Cap? When I think about it, I had got a scholarship to a JUCO for a trustee leadership, right? For just being a leader and being, in my academics, right? I just imagine sometime if I would have had my mom and pops at the house, what would have happened? Would I still would have been out there wild? Could be.
Right.
Could be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes a kid just need guidance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the truth. But I'm not blaming them. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But sometimes I wonder, like, you probably could have did a little. I'm not doing. I'm in the spot where I need to be. Right.
Yeah.
I'm next to Cap, so I'm straight. You know what
Right,
I mean? I
right,
can
right.
deal. I'm good. Life is good now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on my way to the king. I ain't got nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, though.
But like Cap said, men, think about it. All of us just heard those stories. And unless you had told me those stories, I would have never known, because we don't see the pain on each other the same way that we do with women, but we see the effects of it.
Right.
We see the effects of it.
Right. So let's pull up this first article. 7 types of emotionally abusive parents and their effects on children. Who found this article?
I did.
Yeah.
This is you?
LSJ.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
A little bit of this happened in my life since we talking about insecurities.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's read this first part.
It says, what is emotional abuse from a parent? Emotional abuse from parents can take many forms, including verbally abusing, terrorizing, exploiting, isolating, rejecting, neglecting, and parentifying.
And so some of those things, a few of these things, some of you brothers mentioned just within your own homes. Even if you had a father in the home or a stepfather in the home, let me go back to it. You experience the isolation, the rejection, the neglect. Parentifying, I ain't never heard of parentifying. I don't know what y'all got to look that up on the back
I've
end.
never heard of that.
Parentifying is when you put your kids in like adult situations they're not ready for. Like for example,
your son is your boyfriend.
No,
making something like that.
The daughter the basically the provider, or
The-
making the son,
making
or
the daughter the
the
mom of the
babysitter.
house. It's
okay.
typical in young moms because they still want to go live that young life. So they have a young daughter who's momming their baby siblings and all. She 11 years old.
I raised you.
And you want her to act like the mom of the house, but she ain't nothing but 11 years old.
changed
That's
your diapers.
parenting.
Yeah. Make sure we had that for next week when we deal with the sisters.
Yes.
Okay. Please make sure we had that for next week. Y'all gotta pull some stuff up for parentifying. Not now, but just for next week. Go ahead.
It occurs when parents readily interact.
Repeatedly.
Oh, sorry. It occurs when parents
That's that cataract. Go ahead.
It occurs when parents repeatedly interact with their children in a harmful way. The parent's abusive behavior can be chronic or only when triggered by alcohol or other potentiating factors. Types of emotional abuse by parents. Emotional abuse is hard to identify because, in most cases, it occurs behind closed doors and does not have obvious physical signs as opposed to physical abuse or sexual abuse. It is
Okay, read that part again.
Emotional abuse is hard to identify because, in most cases, it occurs behind closed doors and does not have obvious physical signs.
So the neglect, the parentifying, now that has some outward signs, parentifying, but the neglect, the rejection, stuff like that, it doesn't leave bruises. It don't leave marks.
Right.
Go ahead.
As opposed to physical abuse or sexual abuse. It is not always clear to what extent abusive behaviors are considered emotional abuse, as they are sometimes seen as bad parenting skills. Here are some type of abuse from childhood that can leave emotional scars.
So these are some of the emotional things that even men deal with.
Right.
We've grown up with. Grow back up. Having dealt with all the way to the top. Nope. Thank you. Having dealt with, this ain't it.
It's one more. Got to go up. There you go.
Thank you. Having dealt with isolation, exploitation, terrorization. Is that a word?
Terrorizing.
Terrorize. But terrorization,
does-
still a word. Yeah, it's a word.
Thank you, cataract.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Neglect. Parentifying. So scroll down. So these are some of the abuses. Go ahead.
Verbal abuse. Would you like me to read the middle?
Yep.
Verbal abuse from parents includes belittling, name-calling, degrading, shaming, ridiculing, singling out a child to criticize or punish, and humiliating a child in public.
You ain't shit. You look just like your daddy. You need to go with your daddy. Y'all help me out with some more.
Your daddy ain't it, so you ain't gonna be.
There you go.
Y'all act like I ain't raised y'all good.
Right. Hey, I got one for you. How about your mama gossiping to her church friends about her kids as if she wasn't half the person in raising them? These kids doing this and that, and I used to sit back and think
you'll
like,
be sitting there.
you raised
And they,
me.
you was a part of you.
Right.
Mom, I'm right here.
She looking right at you. She looking right at you in the eyes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Somebody
he ain't shit. Yeah. I knew he wasn't gonna be shit.
He looking right at me right now like he ain't got nothing to do.
Right.
And that's terrible because that's one of those things. If your daddy ain't SH, right? If your daddy ain't shit, I'm gonna just say it. If your daddy ain't shit, you as a kid, even though you don't really know that, you know that, right? Because your grandmama, your auntie, everybody around is saying your daddy ain't shit, right? So as a kid, you know how a kid has big dreams. What do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a police officer. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a scientist, right? A kid has dreams. But when you do something or several times do something, your mama say, you're going to be just like your daddy.
Right.
Well, as a kid, you recognize your daddy ain't shit. So what is your mama telling you?
You ain't gonna be shit.
Right.
You can't be that police officer, that scientist, that this and that.
And now you live your life trying to overcome the fact that she just said you're going to be like a man who you know ain't shit.
Right.
Also, can I say something to that? To that point, and similar to what we were talking about, the things that happen in your 20s and early ages, they don't just disappear once you turn a specific age. They stay with you forever. And Esau will document everything. I remember my first year teaching. I'm in the middle of class, And one of my students came up, you know, they technology savvy, came up and was like, Mister, I found you on the internet. This is before my name was changed. It's an image of a mugshot of my pops going to prison.
Dang.
Not me, but we look very similar.
Yeah.
Like this is I'm like, what is this? I don't know who this is. Click.
Yeah.
And I was
Damn.
like, yeah, I need to go ahead and get my name changed.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Hey.
Damn.
Oh,
Pretending to be an FBI agent, robbing people in Little Rock. Yeah.
God, dog.
He said, Mister, is this you? I said, I ain't read this article.
Damn.
Your face cracked when you see that.
Right.
I said, I'm about to get fired.
Cause you got to shuffle, bro. Like, what the hell am I gonna do?
Right, but your heart probably dropped to your toes.
You know, another one that we don't often talk about, like in black communities, colorism. Like,
Yes.
you know, you're too black, you too light. So people be having like effed up images of themselves, thinking, you know, I need to be lighter, I need to be darker, or you know what I'm saying, and hating their own skin complexion. When no matter what color of black you are, you're beautiful according to the Bible.
That's right.
And you know one thing, this is why Christianity is a hell of a drug, because what you just said, you too black. You're black, filthy, ungodly black skin.
Oh my God.
Right.
Bring it out.
Right.
And your own mama is telling you this. Where you think she got that from?
Yep.
Right.
She's seeing white Jesus, white angels,
Right,
a white God every Sunday, every Bible study Wednesday, every choir rehearsal on Saturday. That's what she's seeing.
From generation to generation.
Generation to generation. So then she got a black child.
Yeah.
Right.
She said, well, damn, you ain't like my Jesus. You don't look like my Jesus.
That's right.
So you ain't going to be SH.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Now, I was going to say something. I think I forgot.
Don't make you get a Jerry curl because your head now.
Yeah. God, dog.
That sounds like some pain.
Texturizer, yeah.
You had
Hey,
a script for it,
Cap,
Cap.
while you looking for it, can I pull some? Get Isaiah 52:1 real quick. Because you made a point, you said about how we go into church and we thinking about the white Jesus, the white angels, the white this and that. It's constantly being reinforced of godliness, of holiness, of purity is of our counterparts. Watch this verse. Watch this. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 52 and verse 1. Awake, awake. Put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean.
The Bible says to put on thy strength and put on thy beautiful garments. That's why when you look around the school and we have the pictures of our forefathers in their garments, in their royalty. When you see the bishop and the leadership, and then when we do the men's conference, they got their garments on. They looking like the superheroes. That's why it's so important for us to have that image. When we march through these cities, we march through Baltimore, we march through Memphis, we march through Chicago. You see them little boys looking at us?
Right.
They got a twinkle in their eye, like, wow, look at these men that look like me. I can be like that.
Right.
And I'm starting to see that with my own son, too. He 2 years old. Anytime IUIC come on the TV, he jump up, he running, he looking, he pointing at the screen, he getting excited. That's important. So for all you Christians that say, it doesn't matter what Jesus look like in the image, all that bull crap you talking about, we going to keep teaching the black Messiah. We going to keep showing the images of the black Messiah. We going to keep putting our leaders in the baddest garments. And don't give a damn what you say about it. We going to keep the bishop on a horse. So my children can look up to powerful black men to be a powerful black man one day.
That's right.
Bishop might come in on an elephant one day.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff right there.
Oh, snap. Hey, get Ciroc 28. So, going back to the verbal abuse, it includes openly telling children they are worthless or calling them derogatory names. Sirach chapter 28, verse 17.
The book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 17. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh.
That's why I said what we're dealing with is not so much physical. A whip will make marks in the flesh, right? Go ahead.
But the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones.
But the stroke of the tongue will break the bones. It will break a spirit.
Right.
So you got this young boy, 10, 11, 12, 15, 18, whatever years old, and all he's heard his whole life, he ain't SH. Where you think he gonna go to get some encouraging words? He gonna go to the streets.
Right.
He gonna go to the niggas that's on the corner. Because they telling him, yo, you get some money. Get out here and get some money, man. You see, we got all the hoes. We got all that.
Right.
He gonna go somewhere where he can get some encouraging words.
Right.
He has not seen the police officer, the doctor, the brother that's in IT. He hasn't seen the father that's worth SH.
Yes. Right.
In his
Right.
words.
Right.
Even though his ain't SH mama married a ain't SH Negro.
Right. Right.
But that's another story for another day.
Right.
That's another show. That's another show.
And Cap, it's more on that.
No. I'm gonna get to it. But so
he ain't seeing no positivity.
he hasn't seen no positivity.
Yeah.
No positivity. So not only has he not seen positivity, he's never heard a positive word outside of Brenda. I don't know if they still call him Brenda, naming him Brenda in
Probably not,
2023.
but-
But whatever,
yeah,
we're gonna go with Brenda. Whatever.
Brenda, an old name, but I know a lot of Brenda.
We think we know what you're talking
I
about.
know, yeah.
That's an old. That's a name from my era.
But Brenda, she gonna whisper in his ear.
Yeah.
Because he already insecure.
Right.
So any sort of sweet, flattering words, he gonna run with it. So then you wonder why he got 2, 3, 4 kids running around the streets.
Right.
Because he done gave ear to every flattering word.
Yes.
Because he's always heard he ain't SH. That's the first time he done heard.
Right.
Because even his teachers, it's a bunch of white teachers he with. They saying you ain't SH. I'm just giving you, I just don't want you to go to jail.
Right.
And in some cases, Cap, you'll have the white teachers where they'll see the situation. They'll be like, okay, this one I'll speak some kind words to, and that'll be that seed that's planted where he gets older. He's like, all right, I'm just give myself a white woman because the only person that ever talked to me nice was Miss Carol.
That's
my
right.
English teacher.
Right.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Dang.
That's heavy.
Read on.
Verse 18. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword,
So many have fallen by the edge of the sword. Go ahead.
but not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
But not so many. You have an entire nation of young men that have fallen by the tongue of a woman. Remember, the scripture says a wicked woman would abate the courage, right?
Yes.
I think that's just dealing with husbands.
Right.
These women, especially these young girls. Yeah, what's this chick name that y'all just
Glorilla?
Glorilla, yeah.
Talking about be toxic.
Yeah.
They got kids. I assume Glorilla got kids. Did you got kids?
I don't think so. Not that I heard of. I don't
Okay, thank God.
She got a
So
young-
she ain't got them. But a lot of these girls that act just like her, they got kids. They toxic as hell.
You saw them
They
all in her
crazy as
first
all
video.
hell. Huh?
You saw in the first video that she put out, that FNF video. She had a whole set of girls. One was straight up pregnant.
that was pregnant.
That's
That was
true.
her.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yep.
another one was holding babies and
Yep.
twerking.
Yep.
Yeah, that's her. So if she ain't got none, she's attached to that life.
Right.
That's what it's gonna look like.
So you got all these crazy ass black women, young black girls, raising these. I don't even say raising these boys. They
Right.
might be breastfeeding,
Yeah.
They grooming them.
but they're grooming them to be freaking monsters.
Right.
And it says, read that part again.
Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
And all them, you got an entire generation of young men that are gonna fall by the tongue of these wicked women, by the tongue of these wicked mothers, by the tongue of the wicked, evil black woman. We talking about the unrepentant. So sisters, if it don't apply, let it fly.
Yes.
Right.
But if it do apply, fix it.
You know what else too, Cap? To your point about the tongue,
Yeah.
those young boys that were raised by those mothers, and if they just so happen to be in their kid's life because they've been reinforced with that type of speaking, they gonna speak to their son the same way. So now the boy is getting the tongue not only from the woman, but he's getting the tongue from a scarred man who never learned how to be a man properly.
Right. Read on.
Verse 19. Well is he that is defended from it, and hath not passed through the venom thereof, who hath not drawn the yoke thereof, nor hath been bound in her bands.
Bound in the bands of a wicked tongue, an ungodly, toxic tongue.
Sheesh.
Blessed is the brother that ain't been bit by the venom, that has not felt the effects. Because
Right.
you know venom will kill you, right?
Oh yeah.
Venom will kill you.
Yes.
So the scripture just said, wicked words, a wicked tongue, you will die by that. So, brothers, sisters, it behooves you to speak the scriptures, speak life into your kids, even in your frustration. Because now I'm pivoting to sisters in the truth. Is that in your frustration, you'll say things that are so out the spirit that you don't even understand that you're abating the courage. You are discouraging. You are on the verge of verbal abuse. What's wrong with you? You just ain't SH. What's wrong with you? Sit your dumb ass down somewhere. All this, I understand you. I understand you get frustrated. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But use the scriptures.
Yeah.
Use the scriptures. We got them. You look like you got something.
I do.
What you got?
Proverbs 18 and 21. My eyes lit up or something. You saw me.
Yep.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21.
All this does is double up on what you just said, Cap. You said it perfectly, but this is Proverbs 18 saying the same exact thing. Read.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue,
Read.
and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
So if you're going to speak death, or you're going to speak life. I mean, so we really got to be mindful of our speech, especially the sisters, the mothers, the fathers, people in those parental roles. What they say has a huge impact on the development of those kids, whether it be negative or positive, whether it be life or whether it be death.
Because every day, excuse me, Cap, because every day you can speak to your child and you can tell them, one day, son, you're going to be great. Right. I can see it on you're going to be great. You're going to be something special in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Your son to remember that day.
That's right.
Even if you tell that, even if a mother tells that to a son that's not hers, he will remember that woman saying that. Or she will remember that. A little daughter will remember that. The mom saying, girl, you are so beautiful. Don't let no man take advantage of you. Right. She'll grow up saying, my mama always told me that I was beautiful.
Right,
so you can't tell me nothing.
Right.
My mother always told me that I was going to be something. Right. I knew I was going to be great. Right. You know what I mean? So you got to speak that life into
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go to the next one.
Terrorizing. Terrorizing is life-threatening, making a child feel unsafe, setting unrealistic expectations with the threat of harm if they are not met.
Now, I'll tell a child I'll knock your fingers off your head.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell a child
Me
real
too.
quick. So, you know, this was written by white folks. So some of this stuff, you know.
Got to season it.
Huh?
Some of it we got to season it.
Yeah, because you know how we do.
But you know what though, Cap? What you
One
said,
is stronger than the other one. We stronger than the other nations.
Yeah.
but
Go
even
ahead,
with
Uncle.
this terrorizing point, we know we say certain things like, "Boy, I'll beat you," whatever. You know, but sometimes this terrorizing can go extreme. You know, and I think that's what it is really talking about, because I've heard some threats from some mamas to some sons that I was like, yo, that's like you talking to just some nigga on the street.
Right.
This is your son you talking to.
Yeah.
Damn, you willing to do that to him? Wow. You know,
Right.
so yeah, man. Yeah.
Damn.
That language get real aggressive, man. At least in the 2000s, I believe, when the baby mamas, the crackhead babies that had babies, they'll talk to their kids like, B, I'll bust you upside your MF head. They would talk to their 3-year-old daughter like that, a 5-year-old kid like that.
Yeah.
Throw a game cartridge at them and hit them upside their head. That's what was going on in the 90s. With these mothers that shouldn't have been mothers in the first place.
Right.
That stuff was real. Yeah.
And you know, and I'm sure somebody online has seen videos. You probably been scrolling through World Star, TikTok, or whatever, and you've seen mothers and daughters fighting each other. I'm talking about fist fighting each other.
Yep.
They didn't just start fist fighting each other when the camera came on with what you saw.
Right.
Mama Bender said, bitch, I'll beat your...
Yeah. Yeah.
Say something else. I'll beat your...
Yep.
Been saying that. So to your point, that's the terrorizing. Now, you know, the stuff that we say just... Girl, I will knock your legs off. Are we gonna literally knock the legs off? No. But I will beat you on the sides until you get a clue. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but the stuff that they be talking about, there's a lead up, and it leads up to physical violence more often than not.
Right.
Go ahead.
So it says terrorizing is life-threatening, making a child feel unsafe, setting unrealistic expectations with the threat of harm if they are not met, and threatening or inflicting violence on the child or their loved ones.
Scroll down.
Exploiting. Exploiting or mis-socializing a child is encouraging them to develop inappropriate behavior that interferes with their development.
Damn.
We didn't see that before.
I just seen an example of this on social media the other day.
With the tatted baby?
Nah, not the tatted baby. Well, yes, that. But a sister had her like 3 or 4-year-old daughter posing in like some grown woman clothes.
Somebody showed.
And it was like going viral. It was all for clout. Just for her to get she was exploiting her daughter so she can get the attention and the clout and notoriety of saying, ooh, look at my girl, she's pretty, this and that, this and that.
Well, when it comes to men today, we all know exactly what it is. Zion Wade is a
Right.
Yes.
Zion Wade.
Yeah.
He is a young boy that was robbed of his manhood because he wasn't directed rightly.
Yes.
Because he had people that wanted to exploit it. and keep their celebrity persona at a high level, and so they exploited the son. It's not to say I've seen. I mean, I got nephews. I have no sons, but I have nephews, and there are times at a young age that a kid, a little boy, would be curious. When they like 2-3 years old, you'll take a group of them after they've been playing all day or whatever. You might take 2 or 3, put them in the tub because you're just going to wash them all together. They all going to bed at the same time, right? Done that. But you mess around and walk out the bathroom, come back inside, and they playing tug of war.
Right.
So you have to be the one to stop that, though, because that it's not appropriate. They don't know yet that that's not appropriate.
Right.
But it's exploiting them. When you like that type of activity, you think it's funny. So then because you see them doing it and you're accepting of it, then you allow it to happen.
Right.
That's exploitation. And you see that a lot.
Yep. Zion is the next level of Willow Smith. Because
Yeah.
Willow,
Right.
I thought Willow was going to go all the way.
Same.
Well, not Willow. What's his dude name? Jaden.
Jaden.
Because he lost his damn mind.
Yes.
But Zion Wade is just the next level of that.
Yes.
Now, something that they say here, for example, the parent may instruct their child to commit crimes or other antisocial activities. And you see that a lot. These sisters had a sons going in the store and for BS, for chips and hot Cheetos, and hot fries, and all, and just stupidity, dumb stuff.
Yes.
I'm like, damn, what the hell is wrong with y'all?
Some Edomite stuff.
I've got a young boy right now who is a client of mine. He's been a client of mine for about 6 months. And I'm amazed, and he's 6 years old. And the young boy tells me the stories of his life, and I'm amazed that a 6-year-old can detail his life. But he told me a story of his mother, because he's adopted now, but of his biological mother would use him to steal from the stores. Damn. At 6 years old, he knows what it means to steal. He knew what it means to hustle people out of stuff because his mama was teaching him. And he's 6 telling me these stories. And I'm sitting there like, yo, I know I got to be talking to an 18-year-old.
Right.
At 6.
That's crazy.
Damn.
And you know another way of exploiting is financial exploitation. Putting that light bill in that kid's name.
Jack your whole
You know what I'm
credit
saying?
up.
Yeah.
Jack the whole credit
Same.
up.
Right.
By the time the kid he get 18, 20, 21 years old, he want to move into his own apartment and
Ain't
get
get
his own electric
nothing.
bill.
Yep.
The electric come like, nah, Negro, you owe us X and X thousand amount of
Yeah.
dollars. He like, yo, I'm 21.
Right.
You
Yeah.
found bankruptcy
He
3 times.
Right, he found out the hard way when he was trying to get his own light bill. That's financial exploitation. Now your son is jacked up and he can't even set
Now
his
he
life up.
resents you.
Yep. So that's it. So various means of exploitation. That y'all talk about the tatted son.
Yeah.
You got these you got these girls that's putting their sons up on social media. They smoking weed, and I'm talking about they kids 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. They smoke weed. They do this stuff
Yes.
just for clout, just for
Yes.
likes,
For clicks and likes. Yep.
just for hearts.
Yep.
It's retardation at its finest.
Yes.
Rejecting.
The parent refuses to acknowledge the child's worth and the legitimacy of their physical and emotional needs. A child is also rejected when their parent defines them as failures, refuses to acknowledge their accomplishments, refuses to show affection to them, and pushes them away.
And pushes them away. So that's very similar to your verbal abuse. You ain't nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing. She always working, so she ain't never at your football game or
Right.
whatever. She ain't never making practice. Well, you go figure it out. You want to play? You go figure it out.
Go figure it out.
So your coach got to get your cleats and all this other
Right,
stuff.
right.
It's a boxer, the brother that's doing pretty well right now. He said that's how his mother was. Aaron Spence.
No,
Terrence Crawford.
Terrence
Terrence
Crawford.
Crawford.
Terrence
Yeah,
Crawford.
yeah.
There you go.
You know what's crazy? He said that the reason why he fights with so much rage is because of that upbringing.
Yeah.
His mama wouldn't go to his fights.
She would
tell
pay
him,
kids to fight.
She would pay kids
say,
to try
I'll
to
give
beat
y'all
him up.
$10 if y'all can beat him.
Yep.
Wow.
She
And
would
he realized
she would
later.
fight him herself
So
in
she
the
would
street.
exploit him.
She would
Exploit him.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Gotcha.
rejected him. And now he is. We look at it in awe because he has great skill. He's one of the best boxers.
Right.
But he fights the way he fights because of the trauma he went through growing up.
But
It's crazy.
The rejection that he saw in it, though, is because looking at the rejection, he said that she never told him she loved him until he won his first championship or something.
Yep.
When he won his first championship belt, she told him. He was like, "Why did it take all these years for you to tell me you love me now?"
Yeah.
But you can see emotionally that he's stuck with his mama, like, and that's a big part of what happens. Is now this boy doesn't know how to let her go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, or to deal with what mama did. So what is he gonna know how to do when he gets his own woman in his life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He gonna be simp at the highest level.
Yeah.
He gonna be either Mr. Abusive or he gonna be Mr. Simp at the highest level.
Yep.
Right.
It looked like AV in the spirit. They got something. Y'all got something for us?
That's his mama right there.
Yeah, go ahead, play
These
it.
brothers on
The kids, I said, if y'all can whoop Bud, I give y'all $10 a piece. Could none whoop him.
This is my mom, Deborah. We got a love-hate relationship. We got a love-hate relationship.
Told you, I'm gonna
And she always telling you you're gonna lose, or you're not good enough, or you're gonna get your ass kicked, or things like that. It's like, okay. When I win this tournament, she gonna say congratulations or good job or I'm proud of you. But it never happened.
Some things that I said to him, I wanted him to be a man. Don't be afraid of nobody.
That's a hard lesson to learn. You're 12, 13.
Yeah, but he had to learn it.
That's his mama's. That's his mama's still.
It's kind of 13 where I'm from.
But see, this is the part that is missed in this is he's the rare case that he turned it into something quote unquote successful. Now we know Greek is fashions and all that, but he turned it into something quote unquote successful. He's now a multimillionaire from fighting. How many of these brothers take that same aggressive fighting mentality and don't do it in an organized manner in the ring, but do it on the streets and end up going to jail or being killed? Matter of fact,
killing they brother.
he actually was like, he got shot in his head. Well, yeah, now I remember. Yeah, he got shot in his head early in his boxing career.
Himself to the hospital.
Yeah, and drove himself to the hospital. So a lot of brothers, they don't turn it into the organized boxing form. They on the streets wilding out and either hurting somebody or getting hurt themselves.
Well, I mean, like Officer Yakub said, it may not have manifest. It'll manifest in various ways. If it doesn't manifest with just wilding out in the streets, it's gonna manifest in his love life or the lack thereof.
Right.
And I don't know what he does in his personal life, but that could take a million different turns. Like you said, is he going to end up being a simp and he's going to have kids all over the place? Is he going to marry some chick that only wants him for his money, and then she going to turn around, they have 1 or 2 kids, and all of a sudden she got him on child support because she always said, I love you.
Right.
I love you. And that's all. She only loved him to exploit him for his resources, a.k.a. his money.
Right. AV, find a picture of his family, because something like officer said, it is really a rare situation with him. He found a girl when he was a teenager. He's been with her since he was a teenager. They have 2 or 3 children. The girl is not one of those physically fit women that you would think, that a boxer would have. That's him.
Yeah.
This is one of those situations where the Most High hand, now is that his girl or is that his oldest child?
Gotta zoom in.
It looked like a child.
I think it's a child.
Yeah, it looked like his oldest
6
child.
kids.
Yeah, but he has 6 kids. Are all of, look and see if all of them, because I want to say that they all by the same one. I don't think he has multiple baby mamas. So he is a rare case, but that's one of those situations. Yeah, they're married.
Oh,
does it say?
Hold on, scroll back up. Go up.
That looked like the family right there.
Who was Terrence Crawford's girlfriend?
Okay, so he's not married to her. There it is. So it manifests in that.
Right.
He would not. He won't get married, but he has 6 babies with her, and he's sticking with her, and she's actually a full-figured woman and so forth. I haven't heard any talk where they've been fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like him putting his hands on her and so forth.
Right.
But he's rare. But that's when the Most High has his hands on. Lord willing, the brother repent. I say it like that.
Lord's will.
Because that would be a hell of an example.
He's still, scroll back up. Let me see what the year is on it. This is 20. Oh, no, this is a couple days ago.
Yep.
See, it's a girlfriend. So it still manifests at the end of the day, because imagine if he actually saw a marriage, a healthy marriage.
Yes.
It wouldn't be a conversation of you having 6 kids with a girlfriend.
Right.
So it's still manifests. So he's not that rare. He has a little bit more notoriety.
True.
That's really it.
Absolutely.
He's only rare in terms of fame, but in terms of family structure, same as the rest of them.
That's
Let me
true.
get the script.
That's
That's
true.
Let me get the script. Let me get Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12, because he's a basic.
That's very true.
So-called African American,
right?
An Israelite growing up in America is no different. We all could have been boxers. Every time I talk to Issachar, everybody Issachar swear they're boxers.
Right. Yeah.
But read that for me.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors.
He's no different. I'm going to tell you why. I was reading a documentary on it, right? He grew up being a stick-up kid.
Yep.
Robbing folks, you know what I mean? Oppressing his own people. Because he couldn't get what he needed from his family, from his mother, right? Whether it was finances, whether it was love, he needed some kind of attention, and he thought money could help him out. So he grew up being a stick-up kid, oppressing his own people, read on?
And women rule over them.
And his mom was doing I guess the best she knew how, right? Trying to play her best version of a man. Really destroyed that relationship. Him and her relationship probably will never be the same. Right. He probably end up putting her in the old folks' home when she get old. You know what I mean? Just paying the folks to take care of her instead of moving her into the house and giving that personal love. You understand? Read.
O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy path.
So now his path is like, okay, I'm not going to marry her, but we're going to have 6 kids. You know what I mean? Because I'm scared to commit.
Right.
Because I never saw a decent marriage in my life.
Right.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's excellent. I didn't even think about that. And then you got to think, and anybody watching, well, to hell with it. Y'all going to take it the way you're going to take it anyway. But to have 6 children with a girlfriend, imagine or think about the example that's showing now to 6 more individuals coming out of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So however many sons he had, that's a duplicated process.
Right.
And when it comes to actually understanding the building of a nation, their mindset is not set in on. Yeah, it's not in them to build a nation. Give me Sirach 16, verse 1 and 2.
And why? Because I don't want to forget what I'm going to say.
Okay.
You also, that goes back to the inheritance. Now,
Yep.
he got all this money.
Right.
If he drops dead tomorrow,
Mama.
where's that money going?
Right.
To the mama. It ain't going to the kids.
Right.
It's not going to the girlfriend.
Right.
It's going to the mama, depending on what they got set up. But I highly doubt
Right.
they got certain things. I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Read that.
Typically, though, Cap, they don't have nothing set up.
No.
When you
Right,
look
right.
at the overall basis of so-called African Americans.
Yeah, because I should have been a millionaire if it was done right.
Yeah, but thank the Lord you wasn't.
Yeah,
'cause
hey,
you
the
might
most I
not be
knew,
here.
he knew I was a damn fool. Yeah.
The book of Sirach, chapter 16 and verse 1 and 2. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children.
Now, this is not talking bad about any of his children. Unprofitable children is mean they're not profitable to God. They're not profitable to the bringing forth of the truth, right? A good tree brings good fruit. Bad tree brings bad fruit. So not profitable now, because it's not to say the Most High can't breathe the breath of life into them. But right now, don't desire a multitude of unprofitable children, meaning children that do not know the commandments of God. Right?
Neither delight in ungodly sons.
And that's why it says that ungodly sons, those that don't know to keep the commandments. Go ahead.
Though they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Lord be with them.
So you can't even rejoice in having 6 to 8 kids all by one woman, because even though it sounds good, if the Most High is not mixed into it, then it's not built on a solid foundation.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back to isolating one of the 7 traits of, what was this? Bad parenting, basically. All right? Lawsville will be back in a minute. Y'all are tuned in the scripts.
I need salvation from this flesh. I need redemption because I'm vexed. Yeah, I'm praying he listens, cause I got a thorn that is deep in me. And I've been torn, evil is with me. Consumed with envy, lust is tempting, and I give in to sin. Thoughts on replay, spinning again, no DJ. Running this race, no relay. Getting
hitting the scripts, no delay. I'm in need of medicine, sitting in the streets and in need of residence. Look in my closet, you might see a skeleton. Locking the door, I cannot let the devil in. But he gon' knock, knock, knock. I feel it when I'm tempted. Ain't no exemptions, got me tripping. This my disposition. Diligent inquisition hit me, then it's admonition. That's the way of life, that's the other option. So I better think twice, I'm really a mess. A real life wretch, a walking, talking wreck. Best keep saying just do it like the shoes with the chant. I'm fighting to breathe, I'm starting to believe it's a knee on my neck. And Lord, it got me vexed, vexed, vexed. But I cannot be defeated, spirit won't be depleted. I need it, believe it, I find my strength and weakness. I'm eating the bread of life, upload God law through the terabyte when I'm fighting the sin. I'm fighting to win, then go out and fight for my kin. Eat, sleep, then do it again.
I need salvation from this flesh. I need redemption because I'm vexed. Yeah, I'm praying he listens. Cause I got a thorn, then it's deep in me. And I've been torn, evil is with me. Consumed with envy, lust is tempting, and I give in to sin.
Yeah, my carnal flesh is weighing me down, my soul is vexed. When the trumpet sound, I know we got next. But I'm throwing punches, trying to pass the test. Satan got my name coming across his desk. I'm watching my back with every step. My thoughts be vexing me, all of these bills be stressing me. Asking the Lord for the recipe, so I cook it up before the death of me. I'm chained down by mortality, I need a new body from my God without a warranty. Lord, when will it end? I know we gotta conquer sin, standing strong against the wind. This thorn pricks and it's deep within, and the man in the mirror I'm battling. So with every fast I'm killing them, starve him out, it ain't no sin for him. Feed my spirit with the benefits, restitution I need all of it. Crack the code, I'm solving it. Truth be told, I'm bossing it. I got to overcome this wickedness. I give him my all, get up when I fall, and fight for these laws, accepting the call, and examine my flaws. Yeah, cause I know that it's me, denying desires in me, and I look to the highest for strength.
I need salvation from this flesh. I need redemption because I'm vexed. Yeah, I'm praying he listens. Cause I got a thorn, then it's deep in me. And I've been torn, evil is with me. Consumed with envy, lust is tempting, and I give in to sin.
Place can't let you what you gonna. Place can't let you where you go. Place can't let you in the sun. Get them inside what you really gonna do. What am I gonna do when I'm done? I'm like at me now, look at me now. I need a bite, don't catch me. Save me from myself, I'm dangerous. Simply when says enough. I don't wanna listen to the scriptures on the lust. Don't feed it, solving it out. Make it the winner top. Don't let it run.
I need salvation from this flesh. I need redemption because I'm vexed. Yeah, I'm praying he listens. Cause I got a thorn, then it's deep in me. And I've been torn, evil.
IUIC Boom Cards are fun, interactive digital activity quiz cards for children ages 2 through 10. Our Boom Cards offer an educational product that is the first of its kind. We have decks in English and Spanish, tailor-made for young Israelites to learn our history and commandments. You can use them in your homeschool classroom and after-school assignments, or even on the go. The intuitive, easy-to-maneuver digital learning features found on our boom cards are self-correcting, allowing children to learn without their parents' help. Anytime you have an internet connection, you can fill your child's idle time with profitable and true biblical teaching. You can access IUIC boom cards on any mobile device or computer at www.boomlearning.com/author/IUIC. You can also download the Boom Cards app on the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, or even on your Kindle. Righteous digital activities and study tools for your children are now available through IUIC Boom Cards.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Y'all are tuned in to Inner Scripts.
Reloaded.
Okay. Let me put my headphones on. I think they work now.
Yep. Hey, my bad. You know me, old school, y'all cool going through stories, man. Yeah, I got stories.
New and improved Cadillac Red.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's go through isolating. We're going to go back to this article, isolating.
Isolating. The parent cuts off the child from normal social interactions. They may confine the child, preventing them from participating in social activities such as family gatherings and school functions.
Scroll down. You got anything on that?
Child.
Yeah, real quick. They say a lot of times serial killers come from isolated households.
So
I know it's Edomites, mainly.
white people.
Right. But
That's white people.
But they don't learn those social skills. They don't learn how to interact properly with people. They don't learn how to share. They don't learn how to teamwork, how to communicate certain things. And then that's why they be so aggressive, so angry.
And that's why they want to unalive people. I've been seeing people on social. They say
unalive.
Unalive.
Yeah.
So now I want to unalive
because they can't say the word because YouTube strikes it. And all that.
Gotcha.
I know that.
So they Edomite, they gonna go extreme left.
Right.
They gonna go far left. Well, I never interacted with anybody. You would think they'd be like, well, I get the freedom to interact with everybody.
Right.
They like, nah. Let me
either.
just unalive them.
Right. Yeah, that's Edom.
Just because it's Tuesday.
Yeah, that's Edom.
I knew a brother Cap up in high school, Nigerian, Igbo, and his mom was heavy isolating, like as far as like him going out, but it was isolating, in my opinion, was the good way because he was like, hey, I got to be at home by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Right. Single mom want me at the house, so he would always. But when I would see him, he would always be like he got a whole grudge. Like we just talking about grudge. He's mad because he's like, man, my friends they out late at the football game, they had a party, this and that, and the brother built up a grudge. Very smart, went to college, graduated. But in my opinion, because of that grudge, he kept on seeing. He looking at the sins and the lust of everybody else. Ended up with a white woman.
You know what though? That's a heavy point because they talk about that in college a lot. A lot of, especially girls, but the boys too. A lot of people who grew up in isolated households, when they go to college, because they've been held back from so much social interaction, they, like you said, they want to interact with everything and everybody. They want to try all this new stuff, and that's why they get to college and they get bugged the hell out. They on all type of drugs, doing all type of stuff, all type of fornication and evil because they were so confined too much and they never seen anything.
Now they back home paying off student loans.
Right.
Damn.
Dropped out.
Child neglect.
Child neglect. The parent fails to provide basic needs such as food, shelter, and clothing. They may leave a child mentally, physically, or emotionally ill or prevent them from receiving treatment.
And you get that a lot. You see some of these judges or some of these celebrities, judges, stuff like that, where they came from nothing. Remember the character Will Smith played?
Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah, on Pursuit of Happiness. What's the brothers? Is it William something? Something William. Y'all throw it in the comments if y'all know what the brother's name is.
He was the brother out of Chicago, right?
Help us out.
Real life story.
Yes, it was a real life story, Pursuit of Happiness, and he was with his son. They growing up in public in train bathrooms, train station bathrooms.
Right.
He's trying to get a job. His what's the dude's name? God dog. Put it in the comments. Y'all help me out, man. AV, y'all somebody help me out, please. But his wife, I'm gonna say William, just because William, his wife, she was one of those where she was verbally abusive. You ain't that sage, da-da-da. And so the brother got feeble, weak need. Thank you. What's the brother's name?
Based on a true story. Click the based on a true story.
Yeah, that's what it was. Chris Gardner.
That's it.
Chris Gardner.
Yeah.
Yes. Abusive wife, and then the son grows up. He grows up in train station bathrooms and all that. Now, obviously, the story ended up good, and the brother was successful, went on to, you know, pursue a career, all of that. But the point is, the mama, the woman, she pushed. What does the scripture say? Hands and feeble knees. Help me out.
Oh,
Weak
yeah,
hands and feeble knees.
Sirach 26.
Right, Sirach 25.
Yeah,
I
get it
believe.
for you.
You ain't got it right. Made weak hands, feeble knees, and drove her child to the point of
a woman that abated the courage.
Yeah, sleeping in train station bathrooms. I'm like, man,
Right.
you get Judge Mathis. I know he grew up in a crazy situation, and it's many other stories that y'all can look up on YouTube with child neglect. Now let's go to the parentification.
The parent forces their child to grow up and take on responsibilities they are not ready for. The child is criticized and punished for their age-appropriate behavior if they do not meet these expectations.
All right, what y'all got on that?
So there's actually a term that was used to identify this, but they used the term to nice it up or to dumb it down, whichever way you want to say it. It was called latchkey kid. Latchkey children are products of parentification. Because I know many children out of my neighborhood, again, at a time where because the father and the mother both had to work, or either the father wasn't at home and he was doing nothing, so the mother was the one providing. In first, second, third grade, as early as that, these kids were going home and having to provide their own meals. You know what I mean? They were told, lock the door, don't answer the phone. They were given money to go down to the shopping center, to the corner store, to do the grocery shopping for themselves because mama was at work. She couldn't do it. And her mind was always that somebody would watch out for them or whatever. But I saw this a lot in the 70s. And the way that you know that it really affected us is because we did not see it with Edomite children in that same way. I'm sure there were some latchkey kids amongst them, but I saw a huge community of children that were latchkey kids because daddy was going on some BS and mama had to work. And this young boy, 6, 7, 8 years old, had to learn to boil water, to cook rice, weenies, whatever, to feed himself. I saw that a lot.
That story is more common than you think in the black community.
Yes.
In the white communities, like you said, you alluded to, that's usually in the trailer parks. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But let me get that in Lamentations 4 and 3. Because it go back to the woman in most cases. 90% of the time, this is going back to the woman, right? This is what the Most High said about it in Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 3.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 3. Even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel like the ostriches in the wilderness.
The Most High is comparing the black woman, Hispanic Native American woman, to worse than a sea monster. He's comparing it to an ostrich. He say even sea monsters nurture their kids. But our people, we find it so hard to do. This poverty, this captivity we in, it got to be the Most High's masterpiece. It got to be. So without these scriptures, we'll continue to produce generation after generation just like this.
Right. You know what I think about this too? I think I'm suffering from parentification.
Yeah.
You suffering from that?
I'm suffering from that right now.
Why?
So listen, I'm gonna tell you this is just the truth. So 30 years old, all praise to the Most High. Got a wife and 2 kids. My mama right now, she expect me to pay her bills too.
Oh man!
I'm like,
wait a minute.
Like what?
Yeah.
And I got 2 brothers that they not helping out. And I'm
The
like,
hell is
these
this?
2 boys, they live with you.
Right.
I be having to let them know, like, Mama, I got a wife and 2 kids.
Right.
So like I know when parents get older, help them out. But I'm like, Mama, you still moving around, you healthy, and you got 2 grown men that's up in the house. Why you mad at me right now? I'm suffering from parentification.
Hey, I know of a situation where
Real
a mother had made her son get a job at the young 13, 14 years old and pay significant bills in the house. Now, I'm not saying that as young men they shouldn't learn, how to work and responsibilities, take care of things like that. Personally, I think you probably learn that better by seeing a father do it and having to do it at 13 years old. But the situation that it created, although it might look like on paper, oh, he's learning certain responsibilities, it created a situation where he was tied to her.
Yeah.
To where when he grew up to become an adult, he never knew how to live on his own.
Mm-hmm.
He never knew how to take care of himself. He could provide for another woman and as a wife and a kid and so on and so forth, or kids and so on and so forth, and a family, because he was so stuck to her.
Yeah.
He always taking care of her, paying her bill, mama this, mama that.
Yeah.
His life ended up dwindling away. You know?
I'll tell you another side of it that I saw. Mothers, because again, in my era, I keep going back to my era because most of y'all won't understand. But it was very common in my era for a household to have 4, 5, 6 kids. Parents had more kids in the 70s, right? So when that dynamic happened of a dad not being there or the mother not being there or whichever, it usually fell on the oldest or the oldest couple of children to raise the younger children. So not only are they having to learn to cook for themselves, they're having to learn to actually cook for brothers and sisters. They're changing diapers. You know what I mean? Like they're actually literally running the house at 10, 11 years old while mama is off trying to provide or daddy, you know what I mean? Or doing, and it causes, I know a lot of people that built up a resentment for children did not want to have kids because they spent their early years dealing with kids, dealing with their mama's kids. You know, and even though it was brothers or sisters, and they never got a chance to build that brother-sister relationship.
They've been parents.
Yeah, I've been your parent the whole time.
I can see them resenting other kids their age that aren't dealing with those at
Yes,
all. So
that
like,
too.
like,
Jealousy, envy. Yeah,
And
right.
when you think about, because I know we had brought up Dwayne Wade's son earlier, but I remember in looking at some documentaries on Dwayne Wade, and his sister was actually the one that raised
him. Right.
So you look at how he
Right.
turned out and how his son turning out. You seeing like, okay, is this the way this thing's supposed to be?
Right.
Or because this thing could have had been done better. You know, so it's you put a lot of responsibility on a teenager or a young woman or a young man trying to raise children because you couldn't pick a good man. Right. Now you got to be out here going to work, because if you don't go to work, you can't pay these bills. These kids can't eat. You can't take the kids to work. So now they got to be at home by themselves. Lock the door, don't let nobody in. And I told you I don't want nobody in my house. That's how I used to go. Everybody know the story.
Esau's video games help fill the void of the missing father or missing mother. And a lot of kids, you have grown men, 40, 30, 50 years old, they play video games all day because that's all they knew growing up.
Yeah. Damn.
And you think the different generations, like, children from the 70s, children from the 80s, our parents, they went out and they had jobs, so they left the kids at home. Now, in this new welfare generation that generation spawned, now they're at the house all day with the kids. See what I'm saying? Giving them the bad, reinforcing those bad habits that the kids are picking up on. So,
yeah.
So, brothers, what we want to do now is we're going to give you some motivation to overcome all those insecurities. Matter of fact, pull up the definition of insecure. Let's pull up the definition of insecure. Go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Like I said, we don't really need to go deep with brothers.
Right.
Because for the most part, especially brothers that are trying to get their mind right, get their spirit right, overcome all those insecurities of life that they grew up with, whether they were neglected, if it was verbal abuse, if they were exploited, or whatever the case is. It don't take much for us to really just overcome that SH and get to the next level.
Right. That's right.
So insecure. Let's look at B.
Definition 1B.
Oh, yeah, let's look at one. Look at one.
1A. Or you want A?
Yeah,
or
1A.
Deficient in assurance, beset by fear and anxiety.
So the fear and anxiety is the verbal abuse. It could have been physical abuse. Give me some. You could have been terrorized. Go ahead.
B, not highly stable or well adjusted.
So amongst blacks and Hispanics, there is no stability amongst the households.
At all.
That's why this brother that's a boxer, he got a girlfriend, 6 kids. He didn't grow up in a stable home with a husband seeing his father, wife seeing his father. He didn't see that.
Right.
Go ahead.
Definition 2, not confident or sure.
Not confident or sure of yourself. So you walk around like this. You walk around very unsure of yourself.
Yes.
You're very mealy-mouthed.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Definition 3, not adequately guarded or sustained, unsafe.
Unsafe. Go ahead.
Not 4, not firmly fastened or fixed, shaky.
You shaky. You toss to and fro here and there, whether it's job, whether it's religion, whether it's relationships. You can't get married. That's why you got 3 or 4 baby mamas. Go ahead.
Definition 5, unable to reliably afford or access what is needed to meet one's basic needs.
Read the example of that.
Families that are housing insecure, that are at risk of losing their housing.
And you see that a lot. You mentioned about the what did you just mention? The welfare generation. The welfare generation. So you always feel like you're at risk. How many times have I heard brothers say, well, mama, you know, she was paycheck to paycheck, and we was always getting put out. We was from house to home, and we was from home to house, and we ain't had a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. That's the insecurity that you see in number 5.
So you know something, Cap? I think the alter ego that's created by these insecurities, that's why you see us with all the bling bling, you know, the Jordans. Everybody got to dress like, you know, dress right, because for so long they all of these insecurities was precipitated by lack, you know. So you went so long not having nothing. Now you have the opportunity to get something, you go overboard.
Yes. You know, Israel, we're going to go above and beyond the Call of Duty.
Do the most.
Yes, we're going to do the most. Now read this real quick, 2 Corinthians 5:17.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature.
So if you are in the process of repentance, you know that you're an Israelite of the tribe of Judah.
That's right.
Or Benjamin or Levi or Ephraim or you know.
Or Gad.
Or Gad. Or Gad. It says you're a new creature, meaning you are a new creation. You are a new man. I don't care what your mama said about you. Right. I don't care if she said your daddy wasn't no good. You weren't going to be nothing like your daddy. You look just like your daddy. I don't care if she said that. Christ said you a new creature. Come on.
Old things are passed away.
So all of those insecurities, all that unshakiness, go back to the definition. You being unshaky, unstable, not confident, unsure of yourself. You feeling inadequate and you're guarded. You are firm. You're not firmly fastened. You're not fixed. You're unable to rely on housing. That's some of you brothers that live with your wife.
Right.
She don't live with you. You live with her.
Live with her. Right.
You can barely hold a job. You are still dealing with the insecurities of life.
That's right.
You're still dealing with that. And if you say that you're in Christ, you say that you're a repentant Israelite, you're in the process of repentance, Christ said that you're a new creature.
That's right.
Old things are passed away. Come on.
Behold, all things are become new.
So now you got to work on sustaining yourself. You got to work on being confident and sure of yourself. You got to work on being firm, fastened, and fixed, not being shaky. Scroll up. You got to work on being stable. You got to work on being well adjusted in life.
Right.
That means holding a job, having a trade, having a skill, something that you can add to the nation.
Yes.
Something that the nation can benefit from.
Yes.
You got to work on not being deficient in assurance, not being set in fear and anxiety. That's what you got to work on. That's the newness.
You know, it's crazy because looking at that, there are those brothers who would believe, because I'm going to deal with the proving process. There are those brothers who would believe that that's leadership trying to lord over them. When the reality is that leadership is saying, bro, you are living an insecure life still. We're trying to help you build yourself into a point of being secure. Because then when you get that woman, she going to have her insecurities. And guess what? You're going to have to be strong enough or far enough away from your insecurities to be able to help build her out of her insecurities. Brothers think that you're just trying to stop them from getting married. It's like, no, I'm trying to stop you from jumping off a goddamn cliff with no parachute. That's what I'm trying to do.
Hey, but you know something? A quick fix, like you say, gainfully employed. You know how good you feel when you get a paycheck.
Right.
You actually, it's you don't pay what you don't owe what you make. You know what I'm saying? That's brothers when they get jobs, brothers that are employed, brothers who can supply for the household. those the brothers that do have a better sense of confidence, and it tells in they walk. You know, when my money jacked up, my face jacked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Man,
think
and
about
it-
that.
yeah, and that's real.
Yeah. So now let's hear from our leadership on how we need to move and conduct ourselves as men from day to day, month to month, year to year. Play that.
Man you are today. Brothers, the man you are today should not be the same man tomorrow.
That shouldn't be the same man you are tomorrow. If you are in this truth and you are not growing, guess what, brothers? You are stagnant. Now you become stunt. Why am I stunt? Why am I not growing? I feel like I ain't growing. I'm the same place I was last year. What's going on, brother? You are comfortable.
That ye may grow thereby.
That you may grow thereby. This truth is about growth. I want you brothers to understand that. So all of us should have that state of mind. We all must try to push beyond our limit. The same man you are last year should not be the same man you are this year. You understand? Last year I was Deacon Malachi. This year I'm Deacon Malafire.
That's right.
More fire.
Hey, and the whole room exploded.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the whole room exploded.
Because he's living.
Yes,
that's right.
What he said, what he imparted in us.
Yes,
he lived it. He's living it.
Yes.
Last year he was Deacon Malachi.
Yes.
A year later he's Deacon Malafire.
And you can see it.
And you can see
Yes.
it. You hear it in his teaching. I don't know,
Yes.
brothers and sisters. Y'all got to make sure y'all are tuning in to Ravening Wolves on Sundays because you hear the growth. Scriptures that you've read. But you like, oh shoot,
Right.
Say the saints are here, and those are the martyrs over here,
Right.
And those are the angels over.
Right.
Oh, how did you piece that together?
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
But that's the growth. So I'm not talking about you going into the dark sayings tomorrow or next week or next month.
Right.
What we're talking about is you got to start on a basic level because before he went to Deacon Malafire mode, he always talks about. He had to fix his marriage when he first came in, and he was learning right up under Bishop. He talked about, I was arguing with my wife. I was fighting with my wife. Now I ain't arguing with no woman.
Right.
I ain't arguing with no woman. There's levels to this thing, man.
Yes.
It's levels to growth.
Levels to it.
Hey, Cap, another thing, too, he said, I remember sitting in this class. This class was so heavy, but it was one phrase that he said in this video that he kept saying in the class. For those of us who said in it, was push beyond your limits. And we talked about these insecurities. We talked about some of the emotional hangups, the mental hangups that come from the abuse that we went through as children or various different things that we went through. You know, in order to grow, you have to push beyond your limit of your own mind.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we put limitations on ourselves because of the comments of you ain't ish, you ain't gonna be ish, you never da. We put these limitations in our own brain of what we can do.
Right.
We second guess ourselves. We doubt ourselves. Oh, well, no, I can't do that because it's a subconscious thing that you telling yourself you can't do something.
Right.
So no, God said in Psalms 82:6, we don't have to read it. He said, I have said ye are gods.
That's right.
When you are a God, that means you have the ability to create. That means you have the ability to execute. That means you have the ability to bring a goal into completion in reality. So you have to think within yourself, I am a God. I got to stop limiting myself on the things I can accomplish and put forth the work to accomplish those things.
That sounded like Les Brown, man.
Pull this up. So I was in a circle. I was talking to brothers, and I just kept replaying what Deacon Malafire said at men's conference. And something that I thought about is our limits are within us.
Yes.
We can say, oh, well, my mama told me I wasn't this, my daddy wasn't there, my grandmama this, my kids that. And we point at everybody else as limitations for us.
Yes.
Your limits are within you.
Yes.
You got to figure out within yourself. That's why the scripture says, Psalms 4:4, to commune with your own heart upon your bed.
Right.
You got it, and that's what Paul got it from in 2 Corinthians 13:5 about examining yourself. You got to figure out how to push past your limits.
Yes.
The limits that are within you.
Yes.
Even if you got how many? Well, I know I've seen on social media. I see men that ain't got no legs or they're in wheelchairs, but they jack the hell up. They push past the limitation that 99% of us would have and say, "Oh, well, my legs don't work, so I can't be fit." Yeah. That's a limit that you have within your own mind.
Yes.
Right. Because it's a lot of brothers with both legs that work very well.
Right.
Hey, I got another story, and I'm gonna make it quick.
Fact. Yeah. They want to try to walk back. That a fact.
Yeah. I'm gonna make it quick. Grew up with a guy across the street named Michael Jackson. Mike was about 15 years older than me. Mike got hit by a car playing in the street. It jacked his whole backbone up. He was never able to walk again. But Mike, when he became a teenager, he began lifting weights. By the time Mike hit his 20s, Mike was able to walk strictly on crutches. His legs would not handle him, but he refused to sit in that wheelchair all day anymore. So Mike walked on his crutches
with his arms,
all his body weight.
Damn.
On his arms.
That's a strong
This is how Mike walked, on his crutches in the hood. You would rarely see Mike in his wheelchair.
And I had crutches. I had knee surgery. I had knee surgeries on both knees. I know what crutches. I couldn't do that all day.
Right.
Oh,
he's strong in the mud.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike was huge. His legs could not hold him up. So, he might use them to balance a little bit, but all of his walking was on them crutches, and that's how he walked.
But think about what we doing right now. Damn, he must be. Wow, that's a limit with it. We limited our own damn mind.
Yes.
Why are we not saying, "Oh, yo, all praise to the Most"? Yo, that's dope, man. That's great.
Yeah.
We like, oh, I can't do it. Damn, you.
Yes.
We limit our own selves on the show. I'm embarrassed.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Hey,
The hell is this?
But those are habits that we got to break.
Yes.
We got to break those habits.
Those are the limits. So we ain't perfect. We telling y'all we got to figure it out ourselves.
Hey, Cap, just to piggyback off of that story he just said.
Y'all know y'all ain't eating pork when y'all say
Right. I'm in the midst of very petty officers over there. So you got to be very mindful of your speech. Crazy. Yeah. So now I forgot my thought. Forget about it.
Go to the next video. Play that.
Blacks.
And developing nothing more practical than developing a vision. It's not some pie in the sky exercise. It's without a vision, you're chaotic and fragmented and hopeless and disappointed, and someone can stop you just by putting up a single obstacle. You're a house divided amongst itself. You have no forward movement. You're not enthusiastic, and that's to be filled with the Spirit of God, by the way. And your life is a sequence of disappointments and frustrations and tragedies, and you're a leaf blowing in the wind. And that is not what you're called to be. That's not what you're called to be. You're called to be a visionary constructor of the paradisal vision. Really, that's who you are. Terrible as that is to apprehend. We already will lose everything we have to lose.
Yeah.
Right? We're all in this game, man. So there's, whether you want it to be this way or not, you are betting everything on your life. There is nothing.
So the point in that one is vision. Vision. The only way you're going to get to the next level and overcome those insecurities, the instability of your life, the shakiness, is you got to have a vision in every facet of your life. Meaning, if you know, because I mentioned it last year. I mentioned it last week, just about basic things dealing with your posture. You got to have a vision of what is a godly man that possesses those alpha male, those alpha traits. How does he walk?
How does he walk? Right.
How does he talk? What are the inflections in his voice? If you got a vision like that of how those men move, now you know how to model yourself.
Right.
And now you know how to pattern yourself after those men. Remember, Christ said, I'm an austere man. So it's like, okay, what does that look like? Okay, now I gotta be around bishop. Now I gotta be around the deacons. Now I gotta be around the captains to see how they move.
Right.
So now you gotta travel. So that means you gotta get out of your comfort zone of your front porch.
That's right.
Right. And that's why it's real quick.
And
That's
real quick, because we long time. Go ahead.
That's why the scriptures say, "What there is no vision, the people perish."
Yes.
Because like he said, you become a weed shaking in the wind. Everybody can stop you with one little simple thing.
Right.
You have no plan, no nothing you are subscribed to reach, and that's why you just wither away and perish.
Exactly.
So all I was gonna say prior to that video right there, but even going to that, I know an officer, a mighty officer, teaching in this truth right now, could not read until he encountered the truth and started reading the Bible. The Bible taught him how to read.
Damn. All praise to the Most High.
So that's the power of the Most High in this Bible right here.
That's the power of vision. This is where I am now. This is where I'm trying to. This is where I need to get to.
Right.
This is where I must get to.
Right.
And then you line out the steps from there. You get counsel about it. Yes, there's going to be bumps in the road, but nobody's going to have a hand in your face to stop you at every little point because you got a vision.
Right.
Now go to this next one.
You have to have thick skin to get better. You have to call yourself out if you're fat and you're fucked up. And a lot of people don't want to go there. They don't want to talk about their childhood. They don't want to talk about their past. They want to get to the root of the problems, and then they go, why am I not getting better? Because there's a lot of shit in there you haven't dealt with, brother. You know, people go to the gym, like for instance, these people go to the gym, they get big, they get jacked, they can run fast, all that shit. But the only thing they're doing is they're coding over the mind. All you're doing is building a bigger, stronger quitter. Your mind hasn't gotten any stronger because you haven't gone back in there and dealt with shit. So the second adversity comes, like, my God, I'm so fucking fit. What's wrong? Your mind is still soft. This is a lifestyle. You can't temporarily dive into it, sample it out, and roll out. This is something, man, that you have to acquire as a part of your everyday grind.
That's why the scriptures talks about being renewed in the spirit of your mind.
That's right.
Your mind has to become calloused to adversity. Your mind, because remember the scripture says bodily exercise profited little. Because if you're weak in the mind, that one hand will come up and will stop you from fulfilling your full potential, from you growing and building yourself and rooting yourself in the scriptures, in the understanding of who you are, and getting to the next level so you can build yourself up to be a better husband, a better father, a better leader, a better example. Go to the next one. Go to number 8. Go to number 8. Number 8, and go to that time stamp, 57. Let's keep it moving. More motivation. Let's go.
During the day, and most of it is on these fucking computers, phones, you know, Instagramming back and forth, whatever the fuck you call this shit nowadays, tweeting and texting and shit. We waste so much time on our little gadgets. It's unreal. And we talk about we have no time. If you really you have to take your day and write down this one day. Everything you do, write that down, and you're like, my God, I am wasting so much time on frivolous bullshit. It's not even funny. I mean, it will, if it doesn't infuriate you, it should. Because there's so much time. I can't get it in. Look at your schedule. You just wasted 7 hours today on bullshit. I mean, and you don't have an hour a day to try to get something in for yourself. I guarantee everybody can find an hour.
Then it becomes about willingness.
Yeah.
Because most people just they're not willing to get up that early or to make those sacrifices required. So it's a function of how badly do you want to change your life and what are you willing to endure to craft that life that you aspire to have, or do you just want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean it's fucking miserable. It is miserable. I mean, to get up every day or 5 days a week, whatever, when it's snowing, shiny, not shiny, not comfortable, and to go in the gym and work out when you don't want to go to the gym, it is not fun. Yes, and we want it very fast. If you don't see results in the first 2 days or the first week, I'm done. That's the mentality of most people. Yep. The struggle is too real. We're not patient. We like in a world where you can Google the best restaurants around me right now. No one is patient. And for you to lose weight, for you to stop drinking, whatever the hell you're going through, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of time, and a lot of pitfalls, a lot of plateaus. You're gonna hit so many fucking plateaus. If you don't know how to get around that plateau, it's not gonna happen fast. Yeah, everybody wants.
So
that's big.
That's big. What y'all got on that? Just real quick.
I say with this is each achievement that you make, right? Because you've made some, and I'm speaking of those in the truth. You've made some because you've put away things. You're keeping the Sabbath day. You put away pork. You're not having sex outside of marriage, so forth and so on, right? But I think, too, a lot of times in the world, I noticed with the insecurities, when you overcame something, you celebrated so effing hard that you never made it to the next wall to knock down. And that's a problem. And he's, that's what he's saying. You have to keep pushing.
And one thing he said that it goes back to, you got to, as a man, you got to put yourself through some hard SH. I challenge you, brothers, and next week, Lord's Will Life Lasts, I want y'all to put in the comments, or you can call in. What are you willing to do to put yourself through some hard SH? Is it you gonna sign up for a 3K? Talk about a run, or a 5K or whatever, or 10K, hell, I don't know. Are you gonna sign up for a Tough Mudder? I'm just talking about things that you can physically do. Are you going to wake up early for the next 30, 25 days, 24 days, because you got the Sabbath? Are you going to wake up early and you going to do 10 minutes worth of whatever, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever? You going to go 30 days without looking at porn. You going to go a month without alcohol. What are you going to do? What do you know is a limitation for you, and what are you going to do to push past it? What are you going to do to get yourself out of your comfort zone? Brothers, I'm telling you now, I'm going to say this too. There are some that do not want to be uncomfortable. I'm talking about the truth now. That don't want to be uncomfortable. They like being comfortable. They like sealed houses. They any level of discomfort or pain, it causes insecurities. It causes their insecurities are showing. Men that like to be what did I just say?
Comfortable.
Yeah, they like to be uncomfortable. They are looking to push past their insecurities. Whether it's fear, anxiety, doubt, or whatever. Well, maybe we won't finish. Maybe I won't get past it. Maybe I won't. Those are the insecure. You have to put yourself in tough, difficult situations to build a mental callus.
Cap, you said some heavy stuff, Cap. People fear failure. People don't want to fail. It causes them the analysis of paralysis. They'll see that line in the street and agree with them, right? But you got some people that's going to do this right here. Give me Sirach 24:9.
Real quick. So we're going to go through the Bible and say, yeah, go ahead.
I'll read it myself.
The book of Sirach, 24 and verse 9. He created me from the beginning.
Like Jacob said earlier, he says, we're created gods. Psalms 82:6. Read.
Before the world, and I shall never fail.
I will do what?
I shall never fail.
Because guess what? We gods, and we created from God. So guess what? We have the ability to create and not fail. So don't give in to us. Don't give in to that failure, that weak-minded, weak nature.
That's it. Put off now the weak nature. Go to number 9. Let's go. Y'all should already have it queued up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Bring it on.
Oh, God.
Y'all got
They're
it,
literally
almost.
Y'all got it.
But what you were saying, a lot of people don't go that way because there's fire on one side and water on the other.
That's
one.
it. Right. That's it.
And they so busy thinking that they're gonna slip off of that narrow road that they decide not to walk on that narrow road. They just go for the wide road.
Because the narrow road is tough.
Yes.
It's difficult. Play that.
How the hell do you do this shit every day? I said, don't negotiate with myself. Most of us come out here, we explain away why we can't do shit, and we stick in this negotiation process in our mind. You can't negotiate these things. They're definites. Stay hard.
You negotiate with yourself why you can't do something, as opposed to negotiating with yourself, figuring out how can I push past this limit. Okay, I don't have time. Well, what can I eliminate out of my day to make time for certain things?
That's right.
You're always negotiating with yourself why you can't do something. That's why you're still fat.
Right.
That's why you're still an alcoholic. That's why you still are an absentee father in the home, because you always negotiate with yourself why you can't do something. Go to the next one. It's all in order.
So basically, you got to get out your own head.
Say it again.
Get out your own head.
Get out your own head. Come on.
You thought you was just going to have a dream and a goal, and you were just going to wake up and just walk into the sunset. You're like, dream, boom. It don't work like that. You have a dream, and then life punks you. Life punks you and say, do you really want this? I'm gonna give your wife MS. Do you really want this? You gonna lose friends. Do you really want this? Cousins gonna abandon you. People that you used to be like this with gonna think you bougie and don't wanna deal with you. It's a part of it, but I paid too much. And so I'm telling y'all, you have come too far to quit now. You have invested too much to quit now. You have lost too much to quit now. Get a reward for your pain. Don't cry about it. Don't whine about it. Get a reward for it.
That goes back to the narrow road that you just said. Get a reward for your pain.
That's right. That's
right. What he was talking, I immediately went to, you're going to lose houses, mothers, fathers. You're going to lose cousins and them that you was cool with.
Right.
But at least get a reward for it.
Right.
At least get immortality out of it.
That's right. That's right. Hey,
At least see the kingdom. Go ahead.
Right. Real quick, to your point about how you were saying trying something hard. I read an article that said the way you overcome depression, the way you overcome insecurities, things like that, is by creating small wins for yourself.
Yes.
So to your point about, okay, let's say you try 7 days of raw food. Boom. That's one little small thing you can do to show yourself to push past that insecurity, and then it builds and builds to bigger things and more better
2 days,
goals.
3 days a week.
That's it.
I like that.
That's it. Play that.
Plan to do what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
People who train every day don't want to train every day. They are not motivated to train every day. They are something else. Motivation is the wrong word. They are not motivated. They are disciplined.
Andrew.
Disciplined.
The person who goes to the gym every single day, regardless of how they feel, will always beat the person who goes to the gym when they feel like going to the gym.
Motivation is a feeling that comes and goes, and it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. Discipline is infinitely more important. So no matter how you feel,
discipline, brothers. Discipline. Wisdom of Solomon 1. Discipline. We don't got to get it, but discipline yourselves. Discipline your mind. Discipline your spirit. To overcome your sins, whatever those insecurities are. If it's porn, overcome it.
Right.
Don't negotiate just with yourself of why you keep giving into it. Oh, well, I'm single. I don't have a wife. I don't have a rib. So that's why you're negotiating with yourself. Don't negotiate with yourself.
Right. Bishop said it. I'm not always motivated,
but I'm always disciplined.
Bishop said it.
So instead of negotiating with yourself, don't negotiate, put God's laws up there. That's right. Instead of you being up there with your thoughts, put God. Remember Deacon Laba said, don't think. Let the Bible think. Let us think for you. Don't you think. You know what I mean? Let God's laws. In other words, let God's laws do all the thinking.
Yes. So now. No. I don't think that was the next one. Go to number 10. That was number 10. Yeah. Now let's go to this one.
In the scientific and academic literature.
Yes. Millennials are the first generation that we could really test what would happen when young kids got their hands on internet porn. Do you know how that affects individuals, men, as far as testosterone? I think there's long-term disadvantages, correct?
Absolutely. And I think this conversation is now finally starting to emerge in the scientific and academic literature with no judgment whatsoever. What I do is I look at things through the lens of biology, knowing what we know about testosterone and dopamine and all these things, and ask, what is pornography doing to the brain? First of all, it's triggering the release of dopamine and in the short term testosterone by the observation of sex, not actually engaging in human contact. Think about the young brain being significantly more plastic and willing to rewire than the adult brain. And that person is getting dopamine and testosterone increases by observing sex and not actually by engaging in human contact. So that's concerning. It should come as no surprise that a lot of these people have trouble with romantic interactions when they do happen. Dopamine seeking is what triggers the increase in testosterone, but as we just talked about it, with repeated dopamine seeking or triggering of dopamine release, it starts getting diminished. So pretty soon that behavior is not causing the release of testosterone. Now people are just doing it compulsively to try and get some little droplet of dopamine out of their brain. I personally think that porn and the availability of porn is a real detriment, especially to the developing brain. It's also anxiety-less compared to dating and relationships where people are vulnerable on both sides and have to negotiate things like, consent and timing and, and communication and all the things that are really hard to do but are essential to do. That's key. Pornography is a serious issue because of the way that it taps into these very primitive systems. It's as serious in my mind as some of the other drugs of abuse.
Millennials are the first.
So your porn addiction is stopping you from pushing past all the other insecurities. Matter of fact, it is empowering all those, it gives power to all those other insecurities in your life. So now you can't have a halfway decent relationship. Now you, give me some other effects.
Now you mechanical.
Mechanical.
Erectile dysfunction.
Erectile dysfunction.
You can't really socialize.
You can't socialize.
Hey, part of being a whore and a whoremonger comes from that.
Comes from that.
Yeah, it comes from that.
Because you're wanting to fulfill. Eventually, well, let me just let Bishop say it. Let's listen to the general. Go ahead. Come on, brothers. Let's pause it and push it back. Come on, brothers. Let's go.
Come on, y'all.
Y'all gotta finish out strong, brothers.
Volume, please.
I'm trying to not be an abusive parent out here. I'm trying to.
Okay, we'll just read it. Go back. I don't think it's no. I think one of the brothers messed it up, didn't put no volume on it. So we'll just read it. And right now, we're in a spiritual fight, brothers. A spiritual fight. And things that happen in the spirit realm will eventually manifest in the physical world. Things you struggle with in the spirit, if you cannot conquer that, eventually will manifest in the physical realm. Eventually, it's going to manifest itself in the world in the physical realm. So the victories we gain in the spirit realm, we eventually gain those same victories in the physical realm. If you lose in the spiritual realm, you will lose in the physical. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope that's not too deep for you. So if you lose the battle of porn, procrastination, laziness, slothfulness, if you lose that in the spirit, it manifests itself in the physical.
Right.
That's why you got to transform your mind first and foremost. Push past your limits. Have a serious sit down. Have a serious conversation with yourself. Commune with your own heart upon your bed, brothers. All right?
That's why those insecurities manifest into degenerate behavior.
Yes. Absolutely.
And it will show on your countenance. It will show in your posture and on your face.
Yes. You brothers that slouch, you still switching your hips when you walk, you crossing your legs, sitting down, you doing all that. No.
Yep.
We're going to fix those insecurities. You got to fix those. You got to want to fix those insecurities.
That's right.
All right? So, So we closing out. Brothers, let's go. Thank you. So make sure you subscribe and follow IUIC Dallas, Instagram at IUIC Dallas, Facebook at IUIC Dallas, TikTok at IUIC.Dallas, YouTube at IUIC Dallas. You can donate via PayPal to IUIC.Dallas at IsraelUnite.org. Brothers, let's push past our insecurities. And Lord's will, we'll see y'all back here next week. Y'all are tuned in to In the Scripts.
You're listening to In the Scripts. Reloaded.
When I think different, I see clear, done hooked up with a brother in, getting built up with no fear. I'm in the streets on the Sabbath day, crying loud, pointing out the sin in a purple garment with gold friends, cause that's what they killed my Savior in. Man, who'd have ever thought that the Lord told me to be a prophet? Man, we prophesying to follow Babylon with nuke rockets and against the pastor that twist the word, said teach for profit. Man, he the soul aside here, straight coon and a blind watchman.
Drink up. He ain't gonna be rich. Because he loved to drink. That's what this type of brother or this person, right? But read on.
And he